right? The first thing that we've realized is the package business, right? Anytime you go to an expensive hospital, you have to first see ki yaar package mein what is included, package mein what is not included. The bigger challenge happens when even after doing all of this, right? The hospital and the insurance company still says that I believe the charges should only be 80,000. I don't think this 1,20,000, 1,50,000 I can pay. You go debate.
Because he also faced a similar scenario, saying that look, generally surgery का cost 2 lakh होता है, आपके लिए 2.5-3 lakh क्यों हुआ? Shrehith, one thing I've seen in health insurance is that even if I have the best and most comprehensive plan with no limits, no clauses, it even has coverage for consumables or non-medical items.
Right.
There are still scenarios where the hospital bill comes up for, let's say, 2 lakh rupees and about 60, 70, 80% is only settled, right? They don't give me 100% settlement on the amount. How does that happen?
100%. I think this is one of the biggest challenges that we face at Ditto when we liaison with customers and insurers, right? Because oftentimes what we see is, ab 2 lakh ka bill aata hai, and again, 10% is deducted, 10-15%, but still 10-15% of a 2 lakh bill is, 30,000. Now, an individual doesn't want to pay 30,000 because they've already paid 40-50,000 in premiums, and they're like, मैं 3 साल भर गया, right? And it's already 1,50,000 I've paid in premiums only.
It's a lot of money.
Exactly, and you're still asking me to pay. And I think it all boils down to these 4 words: reasonable and customary charges, right? और मेरे को ये लगता है कि this has created so much ambiguity in this space that insurance use it arbitrarily. So let me explain ki why this clause exists in every single health policy, right? So there is good reason for this clause to exist. Because hospitals, what they do is generally, I'm pretty sure that most people watching this video also will know that once you go to a hospital, you tell them you have insurance, suddenly prices shoot up. Right? 20%, 30%, sometimes even 100% extra. Right? Uninsured ke liye they charge 50,000. Insured ke liye suddenly 1 lakh ka bill aata hai, right? And insurance companies also know this because now they have to pay it out to, the hospitals. So they usually negotiate rates even before customers approach, the hospital, right? So they'll have package rates. For every treatment, they'll say, I will pay this much, you charge this much, right? And whenever they overcharge, insurance companies can always fall back and should always have the provision to say that, yaar, ye charges thoda exorbitant, right? I am not going to pay and this burden I will not pay. And that is fair. But problem ye hota hai ki hospitals and insurance companies have a defense, customers have no defense. Let me give you an example. A case tha, one of my family members only. Uska gallbladder surgery tha. Ab surgery ho gaya, and it was done in a very, very expensive hospital in Bangalore. The hospital says ki the total bill adds up to 3 lakhs. Which is a lot for a gallbladder surgery, by the way, right? But there were some complications and the treatment went on for a few days. I think they were hospitalized for maybe 7-8 days. And uske baad, the hospital raised this bill and the insurance company clearly said, look, I am only going to settle this much because this is what I believe is reasonable. And jo bhi usne deduct kiya tha, right? They had clear line items specifying ki, look, there was something like laparoscopic charges, instruments, laparoscopic instruments, saying ki we are not going to pay for it because it should have been part of the operation theatre charges. Because operation theatre mein baki kya hai? If you're not using the instruments in the operation, why are you charging, right? So they have a defense. Now in this case, the hospital said ki look, these are our charges and submitted to the insurance company. The insurance company says I will only pay what is reasonable and customary. In my opinion, operation theatre should consist of all these extra charges. And I'm going to pay 50,000 for operation charges, and outside that, jo bhi instruments etc., I will not pay because my expectation, my expectation you will include this in this. And then they say, okay, they pass it back to the insurance company, the hospital, they settle whatever they have to settle, 1,50,000, 2 lakh they settle. The remaining, 50, 65,000, whatever is remaining, they put it on the customer. Ab hospital bolte hai ki if you don't pay, we will not discharge you. So the customer pays and then they have to fight. Right, and this becomes an extremely challenging situation for the customer also to deal with because the hospital can always justify. And if you go to the Ombudsman, if you file a grievance, etc., even the Ombudsman will say ki it is expected from the customer to act as if they are uninsured. That they act as if they have no insurance policy and they negotiate the best rates from the hospital. So the expectation now is on the customer to do all of this, not the insurance company, not the hospital, and this becomes very challenging. So,
especially in a situation where you're trying to go through a treatment, right? Or you're going through a tough situation.
Exactly, right? And customers come back to us and say, "Ki aap kya kar sakte ho?" Right? So now we've realized a few things, right? The first thing that we've realized is the package business.
Right.
Anytime you go to an expensive hospital, you have to first see ki yaar package mein what is included, package mein what is not included. And some hospitals don't even share these details. They'll say, no, operation theatre charges I will put separately, and then I'll include all these costs separately. So as a customer, then you also have to be a bit careful. You have to also tell them ki, look, outside of the operation theatre charges, I will not pay anything. You include everything in that. If you have to settle with the insurance company, that is your obligation. You decide, right? You don't include all the costs outside, because then what is the point of charging this much? And sometimes we also tell customers also ki if you put just say resident medical officer, right, attendant medical officers, so these costs are not payable, right? Insurance company has it in this exclusion list, and they'll say I will not pay again because it is not reasonable, right? And sometimes we also tell the individuals to make sure that they include these charges in the room rent only, or the operation theatre, so that then it doesn't become a burden. So this, at least to a certain degree, customers can solve. The bigger challenge happens when, even after doing all of this, right, the hospital and the insurance company still says that I believe the charges should only be 80,000. I don't think this 1,20,000, 1,50,000 I can pay. You go debate.
Right. No, that's actually right. Even I had come across a similar case where this surgery that generally costs about 2 lakh rupees. For this one customer, it ended up costing about 2.5 or 3 lakh rupees. And there were none of these extra charges, no package deal, nothing at all. It was a pretty simple, straightforward case. So in that case, how could this have happened, right? Because he also faced a similar scenario, saying that, look, generally a surgery ka cost 2 lakh hota hai, aapke liye 2.5-3 lakh kyun hua? So we'll only settle 2 lakh rupees out of that.
Wahan pe there is no justification, there is only random justification saying ki this is not reasonable only, right? They have not specified items, bill items, and said ki this we are excluding, this we are excluding. They're simply saying ki this is not reasonable, the charges are exorbitant, doctor consultation charges should have been say 10,000, it is 15,000 in your case, so we are not going to pay, and they close the matter. So in this case, I think the only option customers have is to go to the Ombudsman and petition your case. Sometimes what the insurance companies will do is, if they have a previous bill for the same procedure from some other customer, they will use that as evidence. They'll see, ki look, 2 months before, there was a similar treatment, similar patient profile, etc. This doctor charged so much, and now he is suddenly charging double. And then the Ombudsman will side with them. But if we can genuinely prove that this is not exorbitant, sometimes we can provide supporting documents from the doctor stating ki yaar ye complication hua. So we had to do more tests. Just a simple example, let's suppose a cataract surgery hai. Right? For a regular customer, it's very different. Regular, patient, it's very different. And a patient who's suffering from, say, hepatitis B or some other complications, right? Maybe they have to take extra precautions. So charges automatically बढ़ जाता है. And then they can't say reasonable and customary. Also, IRDA is very clear, saying कि if you are using this clause, it has to be justified with some basis, right? With some evidence. Jैसे कि you have to show in that area for that specific treatment, this is the usual charge. And if it is exorbitant, say 50%, 100% higher, then insurance companies have a case. But if they cannot prove that, just as I said, if they cannot produce another bill showing ki, this customer, for the older customer, hospital charged only so much, now they are charging extra. If they can't prove all of that, then you have a good chance. So, both cases mein na, we've gone to the Ombudsman and we've shown ki bhai, there is no evidence. Insurance company has produced no evidence. They have no basis only to say this is, unjustified. These costs are unjustified, and then we get a ruling. But generally, this one clause has been the bane of our existence, because it should be the obligation of the insurance company to prove that this is not justified, but it always falls on us and the customer, right? And then we have to put the documentation, we have to put the paperwork together to show that these costs are justified, that we can, and even if we don't get the full 30,000-40,000 deduction, even 20,000-30,000 feels like a win after going through this process for, say, almost like 2-3 months sometimes, right? So yeah. And if you're still watching this video, this is exactly why you should have a trusted advisor by your side when you're buying a health or a term insurance policy, because these things can happen and you should know how to navigate this situation. So I hope you consider Ditto as an advisor, but even if you're not considering Ditto, you have some trusted agent, please make sure that they can fight on your behalf. And if you do not have a trusted advisor yet, please book a call with Ditto before you buy a health or term insurance policy, because we'll definitely be by your side at all times. And like always, please also like the video, comment your thoughts, and let us know if you've ever had experience with these 4 words, reasonable and customary charges, and how you dealt with the situations. If you know of such cases, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We are eager to read it, and we will see you again soon in the next video. Until then, happy insurance hunting.